Too Sweet Wrestling Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Friday, February 9th, and this is episode 6 of the Sweet Podcast. Yes, indeed. Today, we have a few subjects and we got a few quick hits. I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going to get right on into it. First off, let's get some house cleaning out of the way. We are on Podomatic and YouTube. If you're listening on Podomatic, feel free to follow me on Podomatic. You can play it on your iTunes player as well. If you're listening on YouTube, give me a thumbs up. Play your boy and feel free to subscribe to the page. I had a brain freeze right there. Feel free to subscribe. As I'll be doing more stuff on my YouTube channel, I'll be covering some wrestling topics. I'll also be doing some more things with it as well, so stay tuned on that. You can also find your King of Strong Style, Queen of Strong Style t-shirts at tpublic.com/user/o.m.g Corey B. Eventually, I'll have some more shirts up there. Stay tuned. And you can also find me on Twitter at o.m.g Corey B and at 2SweetPod, the number 2 in Sweet Pie. So, first up on the quick hits, we got Impact Wrestling. Brace for Impact is tonight. I'm going to be checking out. It's a event with WrestlePro and Impact Wrestling. Pretty interesting idea, pretty interesting concept. They're going to put their stars together and have a neat event. It's going to be on Twitch. And it's going to be tonight at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. And I think it's a pretty neat idea because the Twitch experience was phenomenally good. When I watched it on, what was that? There was the Barbed Wire Massacre. I watched it on Twitch. I watched it on my Xbox, and just a phenomenal experience. Just a bunch of wrestling fans in there talking about and complaining about storylines like we always do. And it was a great event on top of it. And I expect this to be a good event as well. Nothing else really going on Friday as far as a wrestling standpoint. New Japan's on Axis, so got your situation there, but not much going on Friday night on wrestling. So Al Patron will be there, Eddie Edwards, Johnny Impact, and we have some guys from WrestlePro as well. I don't really know as well, but I'm looking forward to. We got guys like Chris Payne, Bobby Wayward, and I'm looking forward to seeing these guys because that's how you discover guys, you know? That's how you get interested in these guys. And who knows, maybe I'll come out of this thinking, maybe I need to get more into WrestlePro. Maybe I need to see what it's about. So, I'm interested in this entire thing, see how it turns out. I know the Twitch experience is going to be really well. I'll have it right up on the TV, and I'm very much looking forward to it. Also, Impact Wrestling. Next week is stacked for Impact Wrestling. You got Hanaya versus Rosemary, Aries versus Drake for the World Championship, and Brian Cage is returning, not debuting, returning. As I mentioned in a previous podcast, if this is a previous podcast or a previous YouTube video, Brian Cage had a trial, well, not a trial, but he had an X Division match in Impact Wrestling, so this is his return, not his debut. Either way it goes, I'm looking forward to it next week. Impact Wrestling should be really good. So next up, we have New Japan Pro Wrestling. They are putting on a live special the week before WrestleMania. Yeah, they are going at WWE's neck, and I like it. It's gonna be the Strong Style Evolved special Sunday, March 25th at 8 Eastern. And they're back in California again. The first live event that they did on Access TV, that was just phenomenal. It was so great that I just sat back. It was a good 3 hours, and it was just action-packed, back and forth from the beginning to the end. And all of the heavy hitters are promoted to be there. Your Okadas, your Omegas, your Tanahashis, Naitos, and more will be there. Maybe Chris Jericho shows up. That would just be out of this world if he showed up on their the week before WrestleMania. And I'm looking forward to it. This should be a lot of fun. And they're not going head up with WWE. That's what I like. There's no need to challenge them. But when you're going a week before WrestleMania, you're doing something there. You're coming for them. But it should be a good event, and I'm looking forward to it very much. So next up, we have Triple H. Vince McMahon, obviously, is jumping off into an XFL relaunch. And with that, we have a report from the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Like I say, with all reports, who knows if it's true or not, we'll see. But I will react to reports whenever I see something going. And this is another report that with Vince McMahon taking over the XFL, Triple H is being groomed to be given a whole lot more control in the company, simply based on the realistic demands of running pro wrestling and a football league. So it also says that Triple H has been putting his team together, which also includes Jeremy Borash, plus others are being considered. I mean, look, I said this, I think on the podcast, that I would love it if Vince McMahon just said, this football thing is going to be too much and I'm going to have to step down from WWE and hand it over to Triple H. Because, I have my minor quibbles with Triple H. That he was the best backstage politicking when he was a wrestler at times, but that's in the past. As for Triple H now, I admire the guy and I respect what he's doing, what he has done over his time. And it would be interesting, I gotta say, that I'm very intrigued to see Triple H take over the WWE. He's done a great job with NXT. That was on the tip of my tongue. I couldn't get it out. But I've enjoyed his time in NXT, what he's done with those guys and girls. And with Triple H taking over, it's going to be in... They can steal his tagline for free. I'm not charging. He's going to put the wrestling back in WWE. That's my opinion. And with him in charge, I get the feeling that we'll see more of a company that's built towards multiple people being pushed. And this is nothing against Roman Reigns. I don't mean to hate on him, but we're just saying two guys get pushed as the top guys with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar on the Raw, and that just holds back the roster. Hopefully when Triple H takes over, it'll be a situation to where a lot of guys get pushed. And that's coincidental because Triple H was holding a lot of people down when he was a wrestler, but he's not doing so as the COO or whatever position he has in WWE. This would be interesting, and I'm very much looking forward to it. So we had another report that came out, and look, when I tell you guys that this report made me burst out in laughter, it just made me burst out. I haven't laughed that hard since, and I'm picking on them again, goodness. I haven't laughed that hard since Roman Reigns said he was the best wrestler on the planet or whatnot, or in the world or wherever. I bursted out when I see this report. Stephanie McMahon. So, Ronda Rousey has come back. I just got done talking about Ronda Rousey in the previous podcast, but I sent a report that said that WWE is bringing Ronda Rousey back in order to help turn Stephanie McMahon into even a bigger star outside the ring. Boy, that was just a fantastic one-liner. I just folded over in laughter. So, I just don't get it here. I mean, the real punchline was that it said that they wanted Stephanie McMahon. They thought that, Ronda Rousey can do for Stephanie McMahon what Mike Tyson did for Steve Austin. And no disrespect, but Steve Austin was one of the most over guys in all of wrestling at the time. And that was Mike Tyson at the time. One of the baddest men on the planet. And that was just, you're not gonna recreate that, or you're not gonna even come close to recreating that. And well, I mean, like, what's gonna be the significant moment? Like, is Stephanie gonna slap Ronda, and then it's gonna be the Stephanie and Ronda do from a slap, and it's gonna be people breaking it up? That's what they gonna do to relate back to Mike Tyson and Steve Austin? Oh man, I don't know, but it's crazy how I was just talking about in the previous podcast that Ronda Rousey is going to be the thing that gets over. Not the women's division. I said not the women's division. No, they're talking about Stephanie McMahon. Look, Stephanie McMahon's not getting over. Let's just face it, wrestling is not that big anymore. And no matter what Ronda Rousey is involved in come WrestleMania or wherever, I think the match has to be a Charlotte. I mean, I don't know where else you go besides that, but I don't know what they do with Stephanie McMahon and Ronda Rousey, but it's not going to get Stephanie McMahon over. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. She's still going to be the Stephanie McMahon that we all know, as big as she already is in wrestling. I don't know what they're going for here, but I hope they can it, and this is just the report. I hope they can it. So moving on, Booker T and Corey Graves. This was quite the interesting thing. And look, Booker T came out, he criticized Corey Graves, he called out Corey Graves, told him that he would beat him down if he saw him in the street, that Corey Graves was the reason behind him leaving or getting put out on Raw. Corey Graves responded, basically making fun of Booker and his time there as an announcer. And almost, he's pretty much on Twitter, he basically said, you know what? Yeah, I did do something to put him out. He pretty much said that. However, there was a report that came out that said that Jonathan Coachman was hired at the very last minute. Booker T didn't know of the hiring, and that WWE just made the hire for Jonathan Coachman. And that was the reason why Booker T was out. But I gotta say, looking at this entire thing, I thought Book was a little, like, when I first saw the quotes from Booker T, I was like, that's a little too strong, Booker T. But if you push Booker T out, I kind of understand it. But as time has rolled on, I've really come on Booker T's side, because with Graves' dig at Booker T, and I watched SmackDown this past Tuesday, and I gotta admit, for the first time, Corey Graves kind of started to, kind of grate my nerves a little bit with the way he was getting on Byron Saxton. And that is just crazy to say, because I always enjoy Corey Graves taking a little dig at Saxton here and there. It's just great TV. But what he was doing last Tuesday, it was just uncomfortable. He just kept insulting him for no reason. Just insulting him for the sake of insulting him left and right. And at the end of the day, I was like, just call it a match, call it action. And looking at this Booker T and Corey Graves thing, just this morning I read that Booker T put out a tweet, I don't know if it was this morning or last night, one of the two, that he would like for Corey Graves to come on his show and maybe they should squash it. So Corey Graves agreed. So Corey Graves will be going one-on-one with Booker T on his radio show. Look, there's a lot of question as to whether this is a work or real or not. Do they have tension or not? I tend to think that there's a little truth behind every joke, and Booker T, he had some jokes to go with when he was talking about Graves, and I think there's a little bit of truth in this not rivalry, but this argument, debate, or what have you, whatever you want to call it. I think there's a little bit of truth there. There's a little bit of heat here, and I think there's a little bit of truth in Corey Graves getting Booker T out. I think it's rather overplayed, in my opinion. I don't think it's as much heat as people think, but we'll see what happens when Corey Graves goes on Booker T's show. Pretty sure they're just gonna squash it and that'll be that. But We'll see how it all plays out, and I'll be interested. I'll be looking out, and I'm pretty sure they'll squash it, and we'll see. So that's it for today. I told you it was a very quick hit edition. This was episode 6 of the Too Sweet podcast. Going forward, there's some more football left. We'll be talking about basketball going forward. There was a lot of stuff that went down on a trade deadline. We'll be talking about that in the future. Basketball games to come, more sports to come, more sports talk to come on the Too Sweet podcast. Plus more, we'll add more to it. And we'll be seeing what happens on episode 7 of the Too Sweet podcast. Check it out. I'll be back next week.